All right, so here's a tougher example of how to find the ARV. We are in Detroit, Michigan. We're at 15421 Murray Hill Street in Detroit. Right away, the first thing I noticed was there's no beds listed. Some of these markets, they don't have some of the stats listed themselves, right? There's no beds here. So that's just something we're going to have to account for when we're looking at the data itself. It does not, it won't affect drastically what we're looking for. We can still find the ARV without the bed count because, most of the properties in that area probably have the same beds or similar beds, especially if they're the same square footage. So don't let that affect what area you're targeting, but just wanted to point that out. So same thing, we're going to scroll down to the map and click in the top right corner. First thing, oh man, look out. First thing I see is all these streets, right? And we're going to do nearby homes for sale. So, like we said, first thing we see is what? We see linear streets, symmetrical, everything. This is not a subdivision. We know that right away. So we're looking for just an area, not an actual subdivision. We are on Murray Hill Street. Our property's right in here. So we know that's around where we want to be. So what we're going to do is zoom out. Let's get a better picture of the area. Finkel Ave is a major street, looks like. Why? Because it's a thicker line. You see all these similar lines, and then you see this Finkel Ave. That's a major street. We never want to cross over major streets. Same at the top, Parisian Ave. We never want to cross over. That's another major. So Murray Hill Street is right here. This is about our area where we want to stay in. We want to stay in this area between these two major streets. So we're going to treat this the same, right? We're going to go to all filters. Click on that. We click on sold. We scroll down. We click on house. Then we click on last 6 months. And just to knock out any new builds, we click on 1990 as the max year built. And this is what it spits out, right? Those are the sold comps in this area. Remember, next we want to use our draw tool to actually focus on the area we want to target. So we're going to select the draw tool. We don't want to pass majors. So we're going to stay right, and Murray Hill Street is right there. We're going to draw a nice little square right around Murray Street. Right in here. Right? Perfect. Nice little square. So those are our comps. It says 30 homes right there. We got the table over here just like before. We got the address, location, price, beds, baths. These actually have the beds listed because they were sold on the MLS. When you sell a property on the MLS, you have to enter the beds. That's public record for us to see. But our subject property is not listed. It's not sold. It's not anything. It's off market. So it doesn't have the beds. So again, not a big issue, just something to note. So we're going to go just like before. We're going to sort the actual price per square foot, lowest to highest. It's low, 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 and then it starts to go up. Boom. So the highest we see is 138 a square foot. Then we see 137. Then we see 128, 127. So we know this price per square foot is about the range we're going to be in for our subject property, right? So now we start clicking on pictures. First thing I see, this is not a comp. 1,780 square feet. I know I'm not using that, right? It's too big. Our subject property is 1,100 square feet. So I don't even need to worry about that one. The next one we see, look at that. That looks pretty close. Pretty darn close. It does not have the same baths. It has the same square footage, but it only says one bath. It says two baths. Our subject property is what? Our subject property says one bath, but it's 1,154 square feet. Let me give you another note. When a property is not listed like this, it's off market. Even though it says one bath, it could be two baths. We don't know this for sure because once it comes on market, then we know for sure what the number of baths and beds. If it's off market, there are times when that county data can be off, and wherever they got this data from can be off. That's why we confirm on our walkthrough. So just take that into consideration. The properties that are off market that are our subject properties, they could have a different bath listed. Not a big deal. Just take that in consideration. Okay, so back to this one. This one to me looks like a very good comp to use. Same square footage essentially. We don't know beds of our subject, but I'm assuming it's around this because it's the same square footage. Even if you look at these. 3, 1.5. It looks similar, right? All the beds are 3 beds. All of them. So I can assume that mine, right before I go walk it, I'm going to confirm when I walk. But when I'm just looking at this, I'm going to assume that mine is 3 beds, right? So 3, 1. So we have this one selected. We start scrolling through pictures. Uh-oh. There's no pictures. There's certain markets. I don't have pictures. How will I know if it's renovated? Well, you can also look at the description of the property to see. The realtor is going to tell you if it's renovated, right? First thing they say, come see this completely updated 3-bed, 2.5 bath. That's not our comp. We're not using that one because it's too big, but they'll tell you in the description. Let's check this one out. All areas of this meticulously rehabilitated bungalow. That one's been rehabbed, right? Let's see about this one. We'll click over. Amazing, newly, completely renovated. They'll tell you right away, right? So even though this market does not allow for us to scroll through pictures of sold comps, we can still get a feel of what's going on in the house itself. This one, let's see. One of a kind in every way. Simply the light is better. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing in here says it's renovated. This is a realtor who's trying to, make that listing sound appealing. But the most appealing thing is saying right away that it's renovated, and they didn't. So I assume that this was not renovated. It may be updated, but it's not completely renovated. But anyways, so we'll go back to this one. Again, our property, subject property, is 1154 square feet. This property is 1152 square feet, and it's been completely renovated. Right there, it tells us. So now we know our price per square foot for our ARV is $137. That's our price per square foot after our subject property has been renovated. So now take out your calculator, same as before, 137, which is the price per square feet, times our subject square footage, which is 1154. And that spits out $158,000. So we know now that the ARV for this property, even though we don't have the beds, even though we didn't have pictures to shift through, we still got a great estimate of the actual price per square foot, which is right in there. And that's a great example of a tough one, guys. That's not, as cookie cut and clear as the other ones, but I wanted to show you that it's possible still to calculate the ARV and get comps in areas that don't provide all of the information. I'll see you guys in the next chapter.